Hey everyone, I'm Kevin Jorrey with Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Saint. By the way, happy Feast of the Assumption. Today's saint comes to us from the continent of Africa. Blessed Isadore Bakanja was born sometime around 1885 in northeast Belgian Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo. Trappist missionaries traveled to his village, and in 1906, when he was around 18 years old, he converted to Catholicism. On fire for Christ, Isadore was inspired to share his newfound faith with anyone and everyone around. Rosary in hand and scapular around his neck, he shared the gospel. Although he was untrained, many considered him to be a catechist because of his incredible zeal and dedication to spreading the good news. Eventually, Isadore decided to leave his village because there were no other Christians. He found employment at a rubber plantation for a Belgian company. Most of the Belgian agents were strong atheists who hated Catholic missionaries because they fought for the rights of the native people. And when it was discovered that Isadore was a Christian, they ordered him to take off his scapular and to stop teaching the other workers how to pray, claiming, "You'll have the whole village praying and no one will work." When Isadore refused to comply, the agent had him severely beaten twice. The second time, in a fit of rage, the agent tore the scapular from his neck and had him pinned down to the ground. He was flogged over 100 times with a whip made of elephant hide and nails. He was then chained to a single spot where he stayed for 24 hours, unable to move. Talk about suffering for Christ. This young man endured some of the harshest treatment imaginable simply for living his faith. When an inspector was on the way to the plantation, the agent had Isadore sent to another village to avoid the abuse being discovered. Isadore managed to escape through the forest and make his way to the inspector, dragging himself with sticks because he was so badly beaten that he couldn't even move his legs. The inspector was horrified by the pitiful sight of the young man who was covered in festering wounds, filth, and flies. When the agent saw Isadore, he lunged to kill him, but the inspector stepped in the way. The inspector immediately took Isadore back with him to his house, dressing the wounds, hoping that he would recover. But Isadore knew that death drew near. He told the inspector, "If you see my mother, or if you go to the judge, or if you meet a priest, tell them that I am dying because I am a Christian." 2 missionaries came and ministered to Isadore during his last days. They encouraged him to forgive the agent who beat him so severely. He replied that he had already forgiven him and he would continue to pray for him when he reached heaven. After 6 months of suffering from his wounds, Isadore died, rosary in hand, scapular around his neck. He had received the last sacraments with devotion. He was barely over 20 years old. Although not officially canonized, he was beatified by Pope John Paul II in 1994. There's so much we can learn from Isadore's example. Though still young, he taught many about Christ. Though mild-mannered and respectful, he refused to be bullied into silence about his faith. He followed Christ's example in every way from the very moment of his conversion. Blessed Isadore Bakanja, pray for us.